Kenneth Bomberry. I'm from Six Nations Reserve. I live in Hamilton.
I guess my name is RJ. My actual name is Rodney. I'm gay and 16. I'm from Thunder Bay, Ontario, but I moved to Hamilton when I was 8. And I just kind of came out of the closet like recently, I guess.
I could be like considered punk. I could be considered Indigenous. I can be considered Mohawk. I could be considered gay. I could be considered this or that or anything. But to me, I'm just myself. I'm just human. I'm just Kenny. And I already have a traditional name. It's Dehajalinguas. It means he picks an amulet for himself.
In grade 11, I told one of my friends, and we got in an argument, and she told the class, I guess, that I was gay, and it just didn't, I felt betrayed, but also it was a relief because I didn't really have to hide who I was anymore.
I was bullied so hard in elementary school through especially in grade 5. Kids would pop open the razors and their pencil sharpeners, and they would throw them at me because I would dress in black and I like to wear punk clothes, and I admit it, I'm different, and everyone's different. I would sit back and I would really take in, where this person who was bullying me comes from, and this boy, he would talk about how his mom was a drug user and how this and that. And then I was like, and you're bullying me, you're inflicting all these hurtful things that happens to you. You're why inflict it on me?
It took a while for me to come out to my real mom. She took it well, she was okay about it. My foster parents didn't really say much about it. They just said okay. But it wasn't my immediate family I was worried about. It was my extended family, I guess, because they were raised by people from residential schools, so they had that intense behavior, I guess, about how we should be and how we should act. And I just came out actually yesterday to my family over Facebook. They were pretty supportive about it, and I don't understand why I didn't say anything sooner, but it's just more relieving, I guess, once you come out. I kind of get along with everybody, so I don't know what an another Indigenous person would need, but I feel like a lot of them feel like they're hated by the mainstream community, I guess, because they just kind of avoid being in it. Like me, I get along with everybody, and I was basically raised in the mainstream community, so I didn't have that fear, and I don't.
I think a really cool way for service providers to help Indigenous youth in that way is to connect them back to their traditional ways and connect them back to Mother Earth. Bring them on medicine walks, nature walks. The most fulfilling feeling is just walking along nature, talking to the trees and plants and stuff like that. Like to me, it's serious. Our traditional ways are the only thing that helps us Indigenous people, helps us keep us alive. In order for us to maintain that is to stay strongly connected to Mother Earth and our traditional ways.
My mom moved us to Hamilton because of the racism up in Thunder Bay. I didn't receive racism until I visited a few years back, with my mom. And it just kind of noticed people didn't really, they kind of gave us looks, or the tension was kind of on us, I guess. Just be open with somebody, or just talk to them like they're a regular person. There's no need for, oh yeah, they're Native, we need to talk to them in a different way. Or I think it's just that respecting who they are and as a person, and not a skin color or an ethnicity.
But, we can't always just stay strangers and everything. We have to put up with each other, so it's all about coming together as a community, and so we won't be broken. One arrow, you can break it, but with a handful of arrows, you can't break it.
In grade 9, I guess, I started attending an Indigenous program for after school. It started with one of my teachers, Miss Andrews. I think she started it, but we started off making hand drums. it's just you don't find that very often in schools, and I think there's more of it needed. It's more than just kind of talking about it. It's kind of building those bridges back up that have been burned through the residential schools, and just kind of forgiving each other for things that happened before. I think it'd be kind of just spreading the word about residential schools, because it isn't really known to people. Like, I have friends who ask me about it, and I don't really know how to tell them. I know what it is. Like, my great-grandfather was in one. Like, my mom tells me about it every once in a while, but I think it's just kind of having people aware of what happened in the residential schools would help a lot.
My uncle's wife, she was in residential school, and when she was about 4 years old, I have a sister too who is 4 years old, and when this one was 4 years old, she scrubbed the whole front foyer floor of the Mohawk Institute in Brantford with a toothbrush. And to me, I look at my little sister and I see that, I'm like, that's scary to think about. I'm in high school, and there's a lot of stress in high school, and there's a lot of stress like at home and outside, like with friends and stuff like that. So like it just builds up layers and layers and layers. I can't let myself get frustrated with people, because I have to understand where they come from too. Yesterday was like a really tough day, and then there was a social too, and I just danced. It was good medicine. Indigenous people, like, we're optimistic, and there's so much history, there's so much layers of shit that's happened to us that has affected us intergenerationally. You know, there's like stuff that happened to my ancestors that has passed, that all that trauma has passed down through blood memory, and it's passed down through abuse, mentally and spiritually too. It's been passed down, and I have to deal with that as in this generation. Basically, I ran away from that reserve because of all this trauma and all this stuff that's shaped the people on that reserve. Now it's sad, you know, and like it's not all of them like that. You know, there's amazing elders that I know and that I look up to.
There's several different clans, tribes, and types of native, right? Like, I'm Ojibwe, and I have a few friends in this area who live in this area who are Mohawk. They're all Ojibwes. It's just, if they're open to talk about it, I guess. If, like, they're open to talk about it, or they want to share about their, like, tribe or, like, their teachings, I guess, you can talk about it. But I do think they should be open to hear, they should be taught to be open to hear what they need to hear without asking kind of inappropriate questions, I guess. Because
all this stuff that's happened that I have to deal with in this generation, you can't, like a service provider just can't go in and be like, okay, what's the issue? What can we do to help that issue and move forward? And that you have to, like, for me, like, you have to go straight to the bottom of it. You have to go deeper than that. You have to go more in depth. You have to peel open these layers, you know? We're like onions, we have layers. That's why I feel like a holistic healing approach is a lot more comfortable for me, and it can be a lot more comfortable for Indigenous youth. I've been through so many downfalls, and I've helped myself get back up there. Like, I would always think, like, oh, I don't want to go see this person, I don't want to go talk to this person about my problems, you know, they get paid to do this. But, like, do they really care and everything? But my mom's like, they care so much about people and kids, that's why they do it. Through all the stuff that's happened to us in residential schools, colonialism, assimilation, all of this stuff, you know, the main thing that really gets to me is that they try to take away love. Never give up on love. Don't leave love out of anything.